We are live. Woo! What a Saturday night. What's going on? It's Art from the Art of Combat podcast, Woodward Sports MMA, joined by my friend from Serenity CBD, Matt. I always just say Matt because if you watch the show enough, you'll learn that when it comes to me pronouncing anything correctly, it just doesn't happen. For the audience, correctly pronounce your last name.
Matt Kowales.
Matt Kowales.
Kowales.
There we go. Easy as that. What a card, man.
Unreal. Best of the year in my
Best of
eyes.
the year.
I loved it.
Yeah, bar none. UFC 259 happened on Saturday night. Shout out to everyone who watched, too. We had an incredible reception for the card, and as the cards continue, they're going to only get bigger and bigger. We've got UFC 260 coming up, which we're going to have prizes to give away for that. If you're watching this right now, the number one thing you could do is like and share, comment, say hello so we know that you're in here. Let's start right with the heat, man. Blachowicz, the Polish power, defeats Israel Adesanya. Win all 5 rounds, which was a little shocking, I'll be honest. It gets to keep his light heavyweight title. Izzy gets to keep his middleweight title, so it's kind of like as if the fight never happened. Let's be honest. What a performance from Polish Power. I mean, just incredible. Just an incredible show of patience, veteran skills. And I mean, let's be honest, Israel Adesanya, this isn't his first time at the rodeo. He's been around a couple times.
For sure.
But Blachowicz with, 107 strikes to Israel Adesanya 78. The importance in this, and if I see another casual fan say that Izzy won the fight, I'm going to snap.
Oh, no, it wasn't even
The
close.
importance in this fight, to me, from a fan's perspective, was clinch and also the takedowns. Blachowicz had 3 takedowns throughout the fight. I felt like the judges used that a lot to determine the factor and give Polish Power the victory.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I felt like the timing of those takedowns were very crucial as well. A lot of them were towards the end of the round. And then once he got Izzy down, it really showed the Polish Power was just taking over. Izzy could not get up. And it was just something that I felt like Izzy had not seen before. Again, like we just talked about at the end of the fight, you could visibly notice the difference in the two men when it came to weight. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, listen, when you're weighing in and you've got a whole box of pizza with you at the end, you might be in the wrong weight class.
Yeah.
And Izzy's fought all the way as high as heavyweight, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
The double champ stuff, we need to kind of take a break. Let's be honest, because although, and Alex, if you want to pull this up, there was a quote, and we're going to play it here, from Israel Adesanya talking about, in his post-fight comments, about how, the hype train, it's just stopping for gas right now. And Stick, since you're in here, if you could just make sure that the audio's on for this post-fight comment that we're going to make from Israel Adesanya. To me, what stood out the most is that he's like, hey, listen, the show isn't over yet. We're just taking a little bit of break. Alex, if you want to go ahead and play that.
Everyone who supports me, all my people, I appreciate you. I'm sorry I didn't. Like, I know the fact that I like to make my fans be proud, when they say what I'm gonna do, what I've already said, being champ or double champ or whatever. So I'm sorry I let you down, but if you want to hop off the hype train, bro, get the off the hype train. We're just stopping for a little gas. Understand? You can get the off. But if you want to stick with me, and trust me, I'll show you a good time. It's gonna be a fun ride, all right? And I appreciate y'all. Mwah.
Important to me in that whole discussion was that people are still doubting Izzy. And to me, it's like the man jumped up in weight, and he was under the limit. He went up against a fighter. Blachowicz doesn't have the best record, let's be honest. He had his skid at the beginning of his career in the UFC, but he's really shown that he's a decorated striker. What he did to Dominic Reyes, I mean, I watched that fight again last night because that's one of my favorite.
He was extremely patient. He didn't push. By the end of it, neither man had all that much damage, but it was a very technical bout.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is it's like, and if I could figure this damn tablet out, thank you. Fish, thank you. When I look at it, I see it as he made errors in his fight. Don't get me wrong. I feel like it got to a point, too, to where Izzy sort of gassed out a little bit. You could tell that fatigue of moving up, 15 pounds, that did a lot for him. But I'm not going to doubt Izzy and what he can do in the middleweight division because, let's be honest, that's his home.
Yeah.
And you still got Robert Whittaker and Costa fighting in April.
Yeah.
That, to me, is a title contender fight. You win that fight, I would love to see, and especially with the news coming out, which what is going on when you literally drink the day of the fight and then you're hungover / drunk? That's what Paulo Costa said, in case you missed it.
And he seems like a guy who's foolish enough to actually drink before a fight.
He really,
he actually does.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely. Like, I think about it and I'm like, what are you doing? This is your moment to shine, and instead you're hung over against arguably one of the greatest middleweights of all time.
Yeah.
Like, and let me make it clear, like, Izzy is still one of the greatest middleweights of all time. Sure, his light heavyweight mark, he didn't leave a mark. He got pretty easily beaten. You know, there was I wouldn't say that there was like a 10-8 round in that fight. I mean, it was still competitive. It still showed that Izzy, you know, could make things happen, but you're going up against Israel Adesanya. Arguably, you know, sure, he's 20-1 now. Like, he's still, you know, they were talking about like, oh, he's gonna move up to heavyweight after and fight Jones. And Alex, if you wanna pull that up, you know, Jones is saying December is gonna be great. To me, I took that as, all right, well, are you gonna fight Izzy then?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is this after that fight? Is this dead now?
Right.
Is the Bones Jones Izzy thing? Because I think Jones would just throttle him.
I think Jones would completely destroy him. I think that when you have a situation like this, and you know, Jones says right here, I'm imagining that super fight is off the table, no more distractions.
Yeah, and I'd agree.
Yeah, he also put up a tweet that said like December is going to be great. Now, I would still like to see the fight, but Izzy's got to get back-to-back wins. Jones has got to win in his heavyweight debut, and then if he gets the title, then to me, there's no chance of Izzy moving up for a heavyweight title.
No
you couldn't
way.
compete at light heavyweight. Like, it sucks because when this fight happens, and I'm doing it right now, we're not talking about Blachowicz right now. We're still talking about Izzy.
Yeah.
And it sucks because it's like he put on a phenomenal performance, but at the same time, like, we're still talking about Izzy and what's next, and that really shows to me the star power of Israel Adesanya.
Yeah, I agree. And there were some things that when I was watching Izzy, I felt like he could have done better. Like, I thought Blachowicz was sticking that front leg out pretty good, and I thought Izzy could have done a lot more work to that to loosen him up. But he didn't. And again, it was a very technical fight. I thought Blachowicz did a very good job being patient because Izzy does like his counter punches. He's a very good counter puncher. But yeah, I think he needs to go back down, get another fight there, hang out there for a little while, and honestly keep wrecking that division.
Yeah, because I mean, truth be told, like, we haven't witnessed someone come through the middleweight division and really do work like Israel Adesanya has. Like, what he did to Robert Whittaker, where he let him survive a little bit, and then almost like a Francis Ngannou combination. I mean, he tilted his head out, moved over, blah, blah, boom, boom. And I mean, it was just like amazing to me. But at the same time, Blachowicz is a human specimen. Like, the guy, you know, we were sharing stories about Polish Power, you know, Blachowicz on Saturday, and how he just has like this almost like mythical creature, like, you know, like dark story behind him about like how he discovered a man in the forest that had hung himself, and he thinks about it all the time, and now he's like fighting for his son's leg, and it's just like,
this is a true story.
Yeah, he was in the forest and he found a man hung, and I think he kept the rope or something. Like, it's just out there. You know,
that does sound out
there.
But
we're still talking about Izzy because we know what's going to happen now with Blachowicz. Like, he's going to be the champ for a while, I would think. I can't see anyone in that light heavyweight division coming through and taking the belt from Blachowicz, and it's because he went through the trials and tribulations at the beginning of his UFC career.
For sure.
And you're seeing that a little bit more now. You're seeing you're either going to be undefeated or you're going to have some bumps and bruises, find a path to victory, and keep it for a while.
Yep.
With the light heavyweight division, you obviously have Glover Teixeira.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to be on. I am a Glover Teixeira fanboy. Anyone who can go through what Glover has been through, and again, it's sketchy record against sketchy record.
Yeah.
But Glover needs the title shot. What else does he have to prove? I mean, you've got Rakic who could come through.
Yeah.
I guess. But he didn't put on a dominating performance over Santos, and we're going to talk about that fight here shortly. But I'm looking at it like, okay, what is next for Blachowicz? It's got to be Glover Teixeira.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would say as well. I don't know. Yeah, there's not like some huge guy coming up through that division. You know what I mean? that division wants someone to come up and is ready for it too. So like I would love for someone to kind of make a name for themselves and come up. But yeah, for the current time being, I would say the Teixeira fight would be the fight that I would like to see.
I think Dominic Reyes has a fight scheduled. I'm trying to remember against who.
He needs to, he needs to get it going.
But why
again.
not do Dominic Reyes and Rakic? I'd love to see
That'd be
that
fine.
fight.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I mean, that to me could be a title eliminator fight. You know,
I'm still a big Dominic Reyes fan.
Yeah.
I love Dominic Reyes.
Yeah. I think he's, not to be rude, but I think he's somewhat unmarketable. Like, he's kind of hard to market.
Yeah.
You know, when they had the Jones and Dominic Reyes, and it was, John Jones has never faced an athlete because what? Because Reyes played some sports.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're stretching. You know, you're looking for content as far as who could, you know, who's going to come up and face Jones and give him an actual problem. And I don't see it happening with Dominic Reyes. With Dominic Reyes and Rakic, I'd love to see that fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting now. Going on to the it's crazy we're talking about 3 championship fights.
I know.
Amanda Nunes, Megan Anderson, looking at strike totals, 18 strikes for Amanda Nunes, only 2 for Megan Anderson, and obviously Megan is falling to the Amanda Nunes submission. And that is just such a nasty, it was a arm triangle / shoulder lock / arm bar. I mean, Amanda Nunes continues to impress, not only, you know, just in women's MMA, but MMA in general. I mean,
my goodness.
I had my doubts. If you watch my picks, I'm an idiot. Don't choose my picks. Like, I have no problem admitting, like, holy shit, we have a serious problem with Amanda Nunes, and it's never going to go away. Like, she has cleaned out the division.
No.
That I would be surprised if there was rumors before of this division staying strong if Amanda Nunes lost. Now that she won, I can't see them doing anything with that division. So you've got Megan Anderson, who will bounce back from this. I mean, she's still, to me, I like her. I think, you know, we talk about being marketable. She is marketable.
Yeah, for sure.
She's marketable. Amanda Nunes is going to continue to be the champ. We're going to be, 50, 60 years old, hopefully, doing this podcast. Like, hey, Amanda Nunes won again. You know, the only fight that really sparks my interest, and we had another female fighter who was victorious on Friday, maybe Clarissa Shields and Amanda Nunes. I mean, listen, Clarissa, I love Clarissa. I'm a huge Clarissa Shields fanboy, but truth be told, she needs a lot of work in the MMA department. It's not something that's going to happen anytime soon. Now, if they could set something up, Dana says, hey, I'm going to work on this featherweight division. I'm going to work on your other division that you've demolished. Like, go take some time to go do what you want.
Yeah.
A Clarissa Shields, Amanda Nunes boxing match, I'd watch it. And I mean, that brings attention to, let's be honest, the women's side of things, which doesn't have a whole lot of attention. So I think that's something that could be interesting, but we're looking at a completely different sport for Amanda Nunes because she cleaned out women's MMA.
Her skill set is just so diverse. She's so good everywhere. And like, again, I wasn't even thinking submission. Like when I was going into the first round, I was thinking first round knockout. That was my bet, sadly. But she just shows how diverse she is and how she can get inside of a long woman. Yeah. And she made it look so easy.
Made it look so easy. I mean, it was so quick that, when we're doing these shows here, we're looking at these tablets to try and get information. I'm checking my phone. Yeah. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wow, it's done.
Well, and the funny thing was, like, you do your research, you check out everything. Like with Megan Anderson, a lot of people were saying upset alert. And then I'm not kidding, within the first 15 seconds of this fight, I think every single person was like, there is no upset.
That's what sucked, is it's like if you had a parlay, for instance, and you needed Blachowicz to win, and you needed Sterling to win, and you needed Anderson to win, within 15 seconds, you're like, wow, this is deer in the headlights.
You knew.
Like, she...
It's the speed.
It's the speed, and it's the consistency.
Yep.
Like, Amanda Nunes is not going to backpedal for anyone. And I thought she was going to do it for Chris Cyborg. Nope. Thought she was going to do it for Ronda Rousey. Nope. Thought she was going to do it for Durandamine. Nope.
Yeah.
Holly Holm. Nope. I mean, who else can she fight at this point? There's nobody.
That's the thing too, and like some of the whispers that I would hear are Amanda Nunes had a baby. She's been up all night. She's gonna be tired. She's gonna be this, that.
Yeah, that's what Bravo was saying. Yeah.
And then I watched a Nunes interview where she's like, "My child has re-inspired me. There's a new fire." And then I'm kind of sitting there thinking like, oh shit.
Yeah, this quote right here, the lion is always dangerous, but when she has a baby, nobody can stop her.
That's what I'm saying. Like, once she said that, I was like, who in the world is taking Megan Anderson?
I am more dangerous now with my little girl, so nobody is going to stop me.
Put the house on it.
Shout out to Alex for pulling that up. Man,
yeah,
I mean,
that's good work right there.
And listen, I've had a gaggle full of kids, and I couldn't, there's no way with them being a couple months old, I could still train. There's no way. Like, there's no sleep schedule.
Yeah.
You're literally struggling to stay awake. And, you know, she's got a good support system.
For sure.
I mean, that's the only way that you can make it happen. You know, when I look at Amanda Nunes and I look at what she has done for the sport, a lot of people talk about the Ronda Rousey effect. You know, women's MMA was, let's be honest, it was shit before Gina came in and Ronda came in. And Cyborg. You got to credit Cyborg, too.
You do.
To me, Amanda Nunes is the only thing keeping it going right now.
For real.
Because, let's be honest, no one wants to see Holly Holm main event a card again. I'm sorry. I don't want to see it.
I don't know if I'd watch that one.
No, it's so played out. Like, how many more times are we going to go through this? How many more times is she going to headline on a fight night? Like, and I love Holly. Her, you know, creating the arguably next to Matt Serra and GSP, the biggest upset in UFC history with that Ronda Rousey head kick. I love her for it. But as it stands right now, you've got Michelle Watterson, you've got Weili, you've got Rose, you've got Amanda.
Yeah.
Somebody in this room, somebody please give me another female fighter that is keeping things going that is as decorated.
Yeah, definitely not as decorated.
Yeah. I mean, there's some up-and-comers, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You know, there's
I like
definitely
those two girls on the undercard.
Yes.
What was it? Lemos and
Lemos is whoo.
She looked very good.
She looked very good.
That was impressive.
Yeah, I mean, 2 knockdowns, 29 strikes to Souza's 1 strike.
Yeah.
I mean, finished it in the first round.
Yeah.
But to me, you've got to see what else is coming.
Yep.
You know, with Amanda, you know what's coming. You know whoever she faces, it's going to be a problem.
For sure.
You know, Michelle Watterson, she's had a skiddy up and down, up and down. Holly Holm's the same way. Amanda Nunes is literally keeping women's MMA alive in the UFC right now.
For sure, and I think it's even getting to the point where now that gambling's legal and it's at our fingertips and stuff like that, people see the plus 1,600 odds and they're like, ooh, like she's going down tonight. She's going down. You know what I'm saying?
I fell into it. I fell into it this weekend.
I get it. Odds are sexy. You want odds.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I understand.
You see those numbers and you're like, man, if this parlay hits, that's $4,000 for only $10.
Yeah.
Don't hurt to throw $10 at it.
Yeah, I'll throw it in my group chats.
Yeah.
DSB, you know, it makes me look good.
It's just like, man. Moving on to the third title fight of the night, Aljamain Sterling against Peter Yan. That to me was the most shocking outcome, to be honest. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm upset for Peter Yan more than I am Sterling.
Yeah.
Because you had that fight in the bag. Looking at these stats right here, 97 strikes for Aljamain Sterling to Peter Yan's 86. Okay, so he beat him in strikes.
Yeah.
7 takedowns for Peter Yan. And if you're a judge, you're looking at the takedowns. Like you are. 1 knockdown for Peter Yan.
Yeah.
To me, Peter Yan had that fight. Again, where's the delusion coming where people see this and they're like, oh, Sterling was in it to win it. No, after the third round, he was gassed. After the first round, arguably, you could say he was a different fighter. But then the strike happens. And if we could pull up that image, Alex, that strike...
That was the weirdest thing.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
What is Jan's corner doing? Literally, Herb Dean said grounded. You could hear it in the audio.
Oh, yeah, you could hear it.
Grounded. And then you see the strike, and you see Peter Yan putting his hand over almost like a tie clinch while Sterling was on the bottom. You could see the down knee right there. You hear the coaches say strike, and he strikes.
Yes.
I mean, that's to me, I'm sorry, it's not Peter Yan's fault. It's the coaching's fault.
No.
You know, and Peter Yan said, I apologize and wish speedy recovery to Aljamain Sterling. I didn't mean to throw an illegal strike. I just made a big mistake and paid for it. You paid for it dearly, man, because now, to add fuel to the fire, as if we couldn't get any crazier in this sport, Aljamain Sterling wins the fight. He does the total LeBron. I'm sorry. That first... When he got hit with a knee strike that would have put most fighters out.
Yeah, yeah.
But he wasn't out. He sits back and goes, "Oh my gosh!" And then the LeBron effect hit, and what are you doing, dude? Like, you could have. To me, it was an illegal strike to a ground opponent. Which, correct me if I'm wrong. From what I've seen from other fights, you have 5 minutes to recover, and then after that, the doctor comes in and rules if it's or if we're keeping it going.
Yeah.
Okay. So they halt the fight, timeout. Then Sterling puts on this show, which fuck the title, give him an Oscar.
Yeah.
You know, and let me make it clear. Like, yes, he got hit with an illegal shot. Yes, that had to have hurt. I mean, right in the temple. Anybody else would have been out. Props to Sterling for, we've seen him have chin problems before. Props to Sterling for keeping it, cohesive enough to form a sentence. Yeah. Then you put on this spectacular performance. They give you the belt. You throw it on the ground. Then the post-fight after, you're talking normal.
That was the biggest mistake in my eyes. Don't do an interview. What are you doing? Like, for one, all of America thinks you have a bad concussion. You should not be on camera.
Right.
And the thing is,
and that's been a rule in the UFC.
You were clear as day.
Yeah,
you were clear as day. So I get what you're saying for sure. Like, I think that was the biggest mistake in itself. And like, I have an odd opinion on that too. When he was on the ground like that, my initial thought in my head was, is he luring him in for a illegal knee? That was literally in my head. I was like, is he trying to lure him in? Because like, I was like,
that's
is he on the ground?
Point.
I didn't know. I mean, to me, it was very evident Sterling was losing that fight. Like, and it wasn't that close. Like, I thought Jan really put on a show and basically stated, I am the best fighter in this division.
Absolutely.
Which he is. Look at his takedowns. Like, I took Sterling.
The trips.
Yeah.
The trips are what was crazy.
The leg sweeps were amazing. People don't use that enough.
No.
So I was very, very impressed with Jan. Yeah, that's a huge mistake. Like, even if someone says strike, why is your first thought to strike with the knee? Like, maybe just do a body shot. Like, you're already crushing him.
Right.
Like, he's on the ground, one, trying to recover, or two, he's trying to bait you. Like, and I thought the bait.
And here's the thing. With Sterling, there was a lot of times where he laid on the ground and he was waiting.
Yeah.
And I think Jan was, and I think Jan was kind of like, no, I'm going to give you a shot. But I honestly, I blame this. If they had a decision, what was the actual decision? Jan by stupid corner.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's what it was, man. Like, so, you had your hand around him in a tie clinch, almost like a Vanderlei Silva. Like, it was weird. Yeah. And then you just decide to thrust your knee right into him. It was just bad corner work, and he paid for it. Because now, and Alex, if you want to pull it up, there's the possibility of Cejudo and Sterling fighting. Why? Why is this even a discussion?
Why does Henry Cejudo decide to just come out of the woodworks every single time and talk all this shit?
If you really want to do this, Henry Cejudo, I'm right here.
What a weird guy. Just a weirdo.
They're both weirdos now. Because Sterling, what the fuck are you doing, man? You've got to give that champ his shot back.
Yeah, you can't go do that fight.
No.
Like, you got to get right back in with Jan. Are you out of your mind?
Because I got to tell you, let's play. Let me, Sean does the whole looking into the crystal ball
that's
of
terrible.
Water. Let me tell you what's going to happen if you face Henry Cejudo. He's going to knock you out.
He's going to throttle you.
He's going to throttle you. You thought you had takedown problems with Peter Yan, who's not a decorated grappler.
Oh, and then you hear Dillashaw coming out of the woodworks, too. I'm like, dude, just shut up.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Henry Cejudo will ragdoll Sterling, and he could fight Jan, and I would love to see that fight.
Yeah.
But then I never want to see Sterling fight for the title ever again. You owe this man a title shot.
Yeah.
You owe this man a title shot. What the hell are you doing?
For sure. So, and I couldn't agree more. I think he owes him that title shot. And one thing I wanted to kind of point out, too, when all of that was going on, when Sterling was on the ground. So, Cormier and Rogan were both screaming from the booth saying, end this fight. Like, get this man out of there. Stuff like that. I don't know if you recall that, too.
No.
But, yeah, they were yelling from the booth saying, hey, end this fight. Like, this is terrible. Like, all this stuff. So, like, I was thinking that could have played into it. Because, literally, think about Sterling on the ground. Think if he's okay and he's on the ground, but then you hear Rogan.
Yeah.
Then you hear Cormier. End this fight. End this fight. Oh, my gosh.
You've got people chirping at you.
Literally, because he would get up and then he'd roll back down.
And that was so, come on, man.
So then think about that.
It was so ridiculous. It was like, We're really doing this right now?
Oh my God. And then Rogan was even like, he's like, don't let him get in that interview. Don't let him do it. And then Sterling just puts on the headset. Like, what's up, guy? Like, and he didn't say that, but I was almost
Flip
like,
of a switch.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Like, what a bad move.
It was a terrible move, and I got to
Yeah.
say, there's a lot of commentary on the commentary.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Them
And-
talking about how great Izzy looked. I mean, I'm watching this. Somebody had put a clip together, and because of copyright, we can't play it, but
Yeah.
someone had put together clips of what Rogan, I mean, Anik is innocent in my opinion, what Cormier and Rogan were talking about, and I love both of them.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
man, some of the commentary, like, oh, Blachowicz looks tired. He looks gassed out. Oh, Izzy's getting some perfect shots. What are you watching?
I agree.
You're putting together a storyline that you want to follow, not what's actually happening.
And two, I wonder what their words do to the fighters, because now you can hear
Oh, you
everything
can hear
that's going on.
everything.
And if they're sitting there saying like, "Oh, Blachowicz," or Izzy," are you
Yeah.
getting in the other fighter's head? Like, is he winning? Should I
Yeah.
press a little harder? Should I back off? But I mean, I guess that still comes to the mental state of the fighter. You know, but,
I mean, to me, like, you got to be able to stay in the game, but how
Yeah.
can you when you don't have 20,000 fans screaming?
Yeah.
And all you hear is your corner and Rogan saying, oh, he's hurt. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that thing is so played out, too. I
Oh,
got to be
for
honest
sure.
with you, because a lot of these shots that Rogan's reacting to aren't shit.
No, yeah.
They're not shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What are you watching? Are you watching a fucking tennis match? Because
No.
what I'm watching, I'm not seeing anything.
Just a hype man.
Yeah.
You know?
And listen, like, everybody needs a hype man. Fish is my hype man every single morning. Art, you're doing great things. You're doing awesome. Am I always doing great things and doing awesome? Hell no. You know,
Yeah.
but you need that hype man, and I get it from
For
a
sure.
sport aspect. I get it.
Yeah.
But from a entertainment aspect and from an accuracy aspect, there's a lot of times to where, like, I'm like, what are you watching? So,
No, for sure.
You know, moving on to Islam and Drew Dober. Man, I gotta tell you, get that on. Get that on. Our boy Islam putting in work. I love it.
Look at this.
I love it.
This is straight from Kazakhstan.
Yeah, like you told me that you literally found that in a box.
Yeah, I just
Like they delivered it in like a brown box with no label.
Oh, no label. This was, I don't even know what Russian handwriting is called, but like it just came up and in a brown box. This was definitely made in a shed from like
Yeah.
some sheep or something.
Yeah.
It was just a drunken night on Amazon. Decided to saw Khabib
Perfect.
fight, and I was like, I need this.
Well, listen, the reason why he's got it on, because we're talking about the second coming of Habib, possibly.
That is
I mean,
true.
honestly, what a performance over Drew Dober. Smothered him, submitted him. 15 strikes to Drew Dober's 10. I mean, what an incredible performance, and proof that Habib and the team.
Well,
and
he was
DC
in the corner.
Yeah, Habib was in the corner. You know, DC with the commentary talking so highly about him. But you know what? To me, if you're a commentator and you're upping a fighter, you got to be doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And in this case, DC did it for the right reasons. What a phenomenal performance.
For sure. I was very impressed with the fight. Dober is a known striker, very strong man, and the way that Islam just handled him. And it's so crazy because, like, all of these Russians, their styles are all so similar.
Yeah.
It's just, they're good strikers. They're good on their feet, but if they want, they can take you down whenever they want. And when you're on the ground, I doubt you're getting up.
And listen, victories over Nick Lentz, 19-1 record. There's subs in there. There's KOs in there. You
Yep.
know, he's 155 pounds, lightweight division.
Yep.
I mean, let's talk about the possibilities. Let's say, and Drew Dober's, that's a big win.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a big win. Drew Dober was on the come up. Islam said, nope, I'm stopping the hype train. Now is when things get really interesting. And Alex, if you could pull it up, Islam called out the perfect call out. Tony Ferguson.
Yep.
I mean, you want to talk about a big jump, because correct me if I'm wrong, I think Islam is ranked number 14.
Yeah.
Tony Ferguson's still in that top 5.
Is he?
No, 7. Sorry.
Okay, I was going to
But
say,
still
he's
in
like
the top
7th or
10.
8th. In my, yeah.
Islam says, I just want to make Tony Ferguson shut up and smash him. Khabib now retired. He keeps talking something. I want to make him shut up. That is how you do a post-fight call-out. That is how you get... And listen, I don't know what Tony Ferguson's got set up. You push everything to the side for this.
It would be bad. I think he would
Get
throttle
mauled.
Ferguson.
And I would hate it.
Yeah.
But you do a fight night and
See-
you headline those two? Tell me that's not a win.
No, I completely agree. See, the only reason I don't want that is I think the best fight for Conor is Ferguson. That's what if they set that up.
Well, yeah, but I mean, listen, Dana's got to get off of Conor's tit first.
Yeah,
like he's
for
got to
sure.
pull off completely. He's still, sucking on his tit.
Oh, I know.
They're gonna set up that rematch with Dustin, which I'd love to
You
riot.
think that's what
but-
next? That's what's
yeah,
next?
I'd love to riot, but listen, I'm gonna cross my arms and just be frustrated because nothing MMA fans say changes anything.
No.
When it comes to the matchmaking, it's what Dana White wants.
Yeah, for sure.
But when I see Islam and Ferguson possibly fighting,
I'd be all
let
over
me be
that.
clear and honest with you. Tony Ferguson is one of my favorite fighters of all time. Regardless of his skid,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of his losses to Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje, he's losing the top talent, okay?
Great, yeah.
Do not put him up against the top 10 fighter. He's going to lose. Give him Islam. Make it a fight night.
Yeah.
Headline it between those two. Because to me, putting Tony Ferguson on a pay-per-view card it's a curse.
Yeah.
It's just he's down 2 right now. Before he was on a 12-fight win streak.
Yeah.
With Islam, he's not I think he's ranked number 14. That's the fight to make because
Yeah.
if you give Tony Conor, there's a very good chance Conor's going to knock him out.
Yeah.
And at that point, I mean, who are you going to fight? Cowboy again? Like,
True, I do agree. I mean, here's my thing with Tony, like getting rid of your coaches, getting rid of your nutrition coaches, stuff like that. Like, he has not looked himself since he did that.
Right.
And if he continues to do that and faces Islam,
Yeah.
I would say he submits him. And Tony's tough to submit.
But look at Oliveira. Oliveira was putting him in tons of different positions.
That's
and
what I was. Yeah, that I
Tony's
just kinda,
made of fucking rubber.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, would I love to see this fight? Yes. Do
Yeah.
I think it possibly ends Tony's run in the UFC? Possibly. I mean, you're down. He's down 2 right now. You get down 3.
Yeah.
It's not a good look.
And then
man.
every single night you see
Right.
all this talent coming up.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Yeah, but to me, you give Tony a big payday on this one.
I agree.
You
Yeah.
you let him headline a fight night. You give him a big payday because
Yeah.
that man deserves it.
He's part of the reason the UFC is where it's at.
He
nowadays,
really is. He really is. Yeah,
I completely agree.
I don't know, man. As much as I want to see it happen, I don't want to see it happen because Tony's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I think he could go to Bellator and completely kill it, but I don't even want to think about him being in Bellator because it's just
I feel like
fuck.
you look at Tony kind of how I look at Conor. Like, I love Conor. I
Yeah.
want Conor's next fight to be really careful.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be something that
So
sets
you
up
don't
good.
want him facing Poirier then?
I do. I feel
You do?
I mean,
you think he'll win in the next one?
I would take Conor.
He's
in
been
the next
known to
one.
make adjustments.
Yeah,
Look at what
yeah,
he did with Diaz.
To be completely honest, like when I watched Conor in that Poirier fight, he from the get-go he looked different to me.
Yeah.
He was not bouncing. He was very flat-footed. He seemed almost like reserved.
Yeah.
So I do think there's a lot of room for improvement there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it will be interesting. And once again, you see someone like Islam who's coming into the top 10 of the lightweight division.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind still that the lightweight division in the UFC is the most entertaining division.
Yeah.
And, Dana White made that happen,
For
and
sure.
good matchmaking made that happen.
For
Now
sure.
you're seeing him do it with the heavyweights.
Yeah.
You're seeing him do it with the women's divisions. Props to him.
I think he's done a great job in building up some of these divisions, like the flyweight, for example.
Yeah.
I love
The
flyweight
bantamweight
fight.
division, too.
Yeah, like I love these fights that people used to rag on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
he's done a great
Another
job.
notable mention in finishing off the main card here, Alexander Rakic against Thiago Santos. Playing it safe, man. I mean,
Yeah.
he really played it safe, and he got the victory. And, usually I'm not one of those swing and bang guys. What the hell are you doing? This
Yeah,
is what
yeah.
I would have done. No. He played the safe fight, and you have to with Santos because you know what?
Well-
One good hit from Santos, and you're out of the rankings in that division.
Yeah, I mean, and that was one of those things too. Like the best odds were Rakic points, with a decision. So it was kind of like how a lot of people, even odds makers, expected it to go.
Yeah.
You got to be careful in some of those fights.
Yeah, you have to. And I think, again, we mentioned it earlier, Rakic, Glover Teixeira, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. The man's been put through the fucking ringer. Glover Teixeira is one of those guys, he's got to get hit a couple times and knocked down before you see the real him.
Yeah.
But Rakic is one of those guys to where he could punch you out in one punch. And
For sure.
Glover, give him the title shot, set Rakic up with Dominic Reyes. I'd love to see that
I'd be
fight.
fine with
I'd
that.
love to see that. Moving on to the prelims.
Loved it.
Absolutely loved it.
Unreal.
You want to talk about getting your money's worth as a fan, as a fight fan, without having to pay for the pay-per-view. I mean, you're looking at decision, but then knockout, submission, knockout. I mean, the early prelims and the main prelims, phenomenal. Let's talk about a couple fights that stood out. Obviously, Dominic Cruz, Casey Kenny.
Shout him out.
Prove that there's levels to this, man.
Yeah.
Casey Kenny's a good striker.
Yeah.
Again, another example, just like with the Blachowicz and Israel Adesanya, takedowns are everything. Sure, he only got 2, but it was enough to keep him in the game.
Yeah.
He got the split decision, which judges, it's a roll of the dice. I thought that they got that right with the split decision.
I did too. Even Dominic said he thought they got that right too. He said when he went back to the second, to his corner of the second round, they said you probably lost that round. You need to go get this. So good for the corner to be nice and honest like that too. It's got to be huge.
Absolutely. Another one that sticks out on the card, our boy Kyler Phillips.
Shout him out.
Yadong Song. I mean, takedowns again are everything, because in a striking match, Phillips threw a kick that would have knocked anyone out.
If it was just a little lower.
Caught him like up here instead of a little down here. But I mean, Phillips knocking down a notable opponent from the rankings, in my opinion. Really put on a show. The 3 takedowns, the bantamweight division, it's just proof.
I was really impressed. I thought Kyler had a great strategy going in. To be completely honest, I thought both fighters looked very, very good.
Very good.
Very good. So it's like, it was one of those fights where it's like, whoever takes this is going to rise the ranks. The other guy, he's gonna get some wins and he'll be back. You know what
definitely.
I mean?
It was an entertaining fight and proof that Phillips can hang with the best.
Yeah.
And his next fight needs to be a pretty decently high-ranked opponent.
Yeah, for sure. And like one thing I just wanted to say about Kyler too, that was really cool thing is my company, Serenity Medical CBD, we've been with Kyler for about 1 year and 5 months now.
Yeah.
And when we started, I went back and I looked at a text that he sent me. And he even said, he goes, look, man, I know I'm not like a top-ranked prospect right now or anything like that, but the guys who started with me in the beginning are the guys I want to put on for in the end. He goes, I'm going to be top 15. He's like, I'm going to be champion. He's like, the world will see. Yeah. And it's just so cool. I literally went back and looked at that text, and I'm like, those are the guys you root for,
They witnessed it on Saturday night.
Yeah, those are the guys you root for, who put their heart on the line, and they go and put on a fight like that.
Yeah.
Man, it was awesome, and I love that guy, and it's cool too because he supports Serenity. It's like the Metro Detroit people. Like I wasn't the only one going crazy. Like people were texting me.
So
you know?
Awesome.
So I'm just proud of him. That was an awesome fight.
Yeah, there's a couple other notable victories. Obviously, Askar Askarov. I mean, the man's a problem. 5 takedowns really made Joseph Benavidez look like a rookie.
Yeah.
Kai Kara France with that last minute and then coming back to do a little bit more. He was running back like, hey, I'll finish it if you want me to.
Yeah.
That was great, too. Tim Elliott and Jordan Espinoza. Wow.
That was a
Tim
good fight.
Elliott not only talking shit, because I don't know if you know about the drama.
Did you see what he was doing?
Yeah. Like rubbing his head covered in blood all in Espinoza's
when he
head.
was gushing, you could hear the corner say, rub your blood on him, rub your blood on him.
I love it.
Could you imagine how angry you would be as a human being on the ground? There's nothing you can do. And
blood in your eyes, it's burning. You cannot get up.
God.
And then on top of this dude's like, oh, Espinoza, you're a woman beater? Oh, you're a woman beater? I got the Snapchat, like saying it to him while they're fighting.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
After the fight, Tim Elliott went into details about that and said basically that he had gotten some intel with screenshots of images of bruising from a woman and text back and forth, and so he really gave it to him. And I mean,
good.
he did.
If that's the case, I'm glad he got beat like that.
4 takedowns, 25-13 in strikes for Tim Elliott in the decision. The man, to me, honestly, he's a gatekeeper in that division.
Sure.
His record at 18-12 is a little, but
I thought he put on a good performance.
Put on a great performance, and is proof that he can still hang.
And good. If that guy's a dirtbag like that, I hope he got his ass beat. But one thing that I was going to say, too, is when they were on the ground, too, there was a good 15 seconds where they had to blur out every word that was spoken.
Yeah.
So I was like sitting there like,
that's what Elliott was talking about, the woman beater thing. Yeah.
I thought the volume went out, but they were just
That's
talking,
what I thought too.
They were just talking
and I'm like, they're mouthing, and I was like, oh, they're talking shit.
They were literally just talking shit for 20 seconds straight.
It's the most interesting sport in the world, man.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, how the man is on top of another man using the gash in his head to rub blood into the eyes of his opponent.
Oh my God.
That you don't see that in football hockey,
No.
nothing.
No.
It's combat sports, and it's the greatest thing ever. Because when I was watching that, I was like, this is amazing.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is awesome. You know,
The elbow rubs.
Yeah, the elbow rubs, the nasty. And, you know, I was seeing
Dude,
some
he was
tweets
like,
like
nookies with his head,
yeah.
too. Like,
I was seeing some tweets where casuals were like, oh, that doesn't hurt. Okay.
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
you have
ever,
no
and
clue.
not only a punch is one thing, putting your forearm into somebody's nose and
Dude, he
rubbing
was
it.
even doing forearm chokes. Like, he would do it, and then he'd slip it down to his throat and
Yeah.
press down his throat. Like, so that was not a fun time for Espinosa.
It's insane. The last one I want to talk about that really stood out, Sean Brady and Jake Matthews. Now let's be correct here. Jake Matthews is a strong man. Jake Matthews isn't just some guy that's coming in for them to feed to Sean Brady. That was a great fight.
Very impressive. I was really impressed with Brady, especially the smaller man.
Yeah.
Too. He was able to get inside. Probably someone who's equally as strong as him. And like, this is one thing I was saying too. It's like, these are the preliminary cards.
Yeah.
Remember this name.
Yes.
Remember this name. When you see his name again, this is what you got to do. You watch these fights for the bets in the future.
Yeah.
This might be a good guy to bet on and remember in the future.
Absolutely.
And that's how you do these things, because you watch these fights, you see how he performed against someone like Jake Matthews, who's big, strong, and potentially could have given him trouble.
Yeah.
And
yeah, absolutely. You know,
did a great
Sean
job.
Brady, when I first started here at Woodward Sports, Sean Brady had a massive victory, and I was like, I'm all aboard the Sean Brady hype train, like
yeah.
I am. And then he had an injury. He was supposed to face Bilal Muhammad, which that would have been a huge step up in competition.
for sure.
Next move for Brady needs to be on a pay-per-view card.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Or, you know what? Get another undefeated welterweight, which is going to be kind of hard, and do it for fight night.
Yeah.
Because the man has proved that he can hang with the best.
For sure. Was it an arm triangle?
Yeah,
or
arm
something?
triangle.
Yeah, arm
Yeah.
triangle. That's how he finished it. And that, again, for a guy like Brady, you look at him, you don't really expect him to be that diverse.
No.
You know, to be able to do an arm triangle like that. That's
He put
a
it
sneaky
on,
little
man.
move.
He put it on. Yeah, so again, arguably, and in my opinion, the best card of the year so far. We're in March. There's still a lot of time.
Man, that was so much fun, too, because you start tuning in at like 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And you're already watching great fights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Knockout after knockout after knockout. It's insane. And then this card coming up this Saturday. Whew! It's gonna be nice. So you got Ben Rothwell on the card. You've got Diane Inge, Eric Anders, Angela Hill, and Ashley Yoder. You've got Nazareth on the card. You've got Davey Grant on the card, and then of course headline 18-3 Leon Edwards against 18-3 Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah.
Whew! We're going to be doing a betting podcast for that on Friday. Broadwell will join us for that, so make sure that you tune in. Real quick, I know that we have sponsors on this show, and I love Proper 12. I love Monster Energy. I don't back sponsors unless I personally support them or use them. I got to say, big shout out to you, man. Serenity CBD. I take the capsules. They do wonders. I take one at night, one in the morning. I've noticed my anxiety, even though I do have to deal with stick, and it's hell on earth sometimes. When I've got the CBD in me, I'm feeling a little bit better. Can't recommend it enough. I have the 60 capsules, 1,500 milligrams total. Each capsule's 25 milligrams. It's not so much, I think people think, oh, you take CBD and you instantly fall asleep. No, it's not.
Not at all.
It's a miracle drug in the sense that it just keeps you calm.
Yep.
You know, instead of
For
me throwing this microphone through Fish's booth, which I would never do. I love you, Fish. But it just helps keep a calm, cool collective. And I just feel, I feel like it's needed to talk about because it's something that you can get. Listen, you can go get the CBD from Family Video if you want. Good luck with that. Or you could check out Matt from Serenity CBD. Use the promo code WSN15 to get 15% off.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate that. And it's funny you even mentioned that, because after Kyler's victory, reached out to Kyler. I was like, "What's up, man? Like, so proud of you. Great fight." And he's like, "Thanks, buddy." Like, first thing he says is, "Can I re-up on some CBD? Can you send me some stuff?" Because he uses the tincture, he uses the lotion, the balm for recovery. Like, his mom uses it. You know, Brandon Moreno, he uses the lotion and the tincture before bed every night. We use Cody Stamen as well. So, like, not only are we reaching out to these UFC fighters, like, these guys actually believe in it. Like, their family members are using it. You know what I'm saying? So we're really trying to develop something that's more than just a company selling CBD. We're trying to develop the community aspect, and the athletes that are with Serenity, and like just like Woodward Sports, like good morals, good values.
They're legends of the sport too.
Exactly.
Brandon Moreno, Kyler Phillips. Like these are people that I respect as athletes, and the fact that they're saying from an athlete perspective, this stuff works. You know, just give it a try, honestly.
And look at these guys' stories too. You know what I mean? These guys came up Like,
Yeah.
they had to work. They had to bust their ass to get where they were. Brandon Moreno, the Contender Series, you know what I mean? The last pick. And now he's fighting Davison Figueiredo.
It's nuts.
So, like, you know, this is what we want. We want the people the world didn't even bet on.
Yeah.
They bet on themselves.
Absolutely.
That's how we feel.
Yeah.
You know what I
Check
mean?
out Serenity CBD. If they want to visit the website, where can they go?
www.serenitymedicalcbd.com. And then we got it on Instagram, too. Serenity Medical CBD on Instagram, and same on Facebook.
There you go. Use that promo code WSN15 for 15% off of your order. Matt, as always, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming
great
through.
show, man. Awesome,
you brought the
awesome time today.
you brought the Dagestani.
Yeah, I might just have to leave this thing here. So, like, you know.
Hey, listen, we can keep it in the office whenever we need to pull it
Honestly,
out again.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for watching another episode of the Art of Combat podcast. We'll be back on Friday for the betting portion. We're also going to do a video, too, to give you some insight on who we're picking for the fights. Like I said,
Nice.
18-3 for both fighters, Leon Edwards and Bilal Muhammad. I am looking forward to that card, and we will be covering it on Friday with the Art of Combat podcast betting show. Art here from Woodward Sports MMA. Big shout out to Fish. Big shout out to Alex. Big shout out to Matt. We are out.
Have a good one, guys.